Hello, everyone. I put this presentation together because not everybody understands what flower essences are. It's one of the many vibrational medicines out there, and I will talk more about that in a few minutes. So let's get started. What is vibrational medicine? Well, everything has energy and vibrations. Plants, animals, minerals, crystals, and humans. Each has different frequencies. Many medical professionals have studied the frequencies on patients and learned that they change when a patient is ill. Taking this perspective on patient care has changed how many view treatment protocols. Like there's two sides of us. There's the physical side, and then there is the emotional side. When both are feeling pretty good, they kind of share frequencies and homeostasis. Take a walk on a clear sunny morning before 9 a.m. Do you notice little droplets on petals and leaves of the plants? Those are the plant's essences. So let's talk about flower essences a little bit. Dr. Edward Bach is the author and creator of flower essences. 1919, he worked as a bacteriologist at the London Homeopathic Hospital. He discovered the organon, the cornerstone of homeopathic principles and practices. He connected the emotional states with physical disease and noticed a disharmony between the two. When the body is under physical trauma, the emotions are too. So he got this idea to start working with different plants. And he started with impatiens and mimulus, and that led him to create flower essences. A little bit more about Bach. As a child, he spent many hours close to nature in the Welsh countryside. Early in his medical career, he realized that the emotional and mental realms are just as important as the physical. So we sort of kind of have the physical down pat, sort of. And we've got the medications, we've got the supportive protocols and everything, but the emotional side is something that we need to work more on. And he really thought about that. And he quotes, "Take no notice of the disease. Think only of the outlook on life of the one in distress." Well, think about it when you're sick. Are you happy? Are you feel uplifted? Do you feel strong? No. The emotional vibrations are not in sync with a healthy vibration of being physically well. So he explained that the properties or essences of plants and the sun's heat, the dew that comes out of the flowers, have healing properties. And they are magnified with each drop. So he ended up creating 38 flower essences. Now the next couple slides helps put it all together in different categories because there's so many. There are no toxic chemicals or adverse side effects. So let's get to these categories. There are 7. Category 1 is fear. Includes aspen, cherry plum, mimulus, red chestnut, rock rose. Category 2 is uncertainty. Serrato, gentian, gorse, hornbeam, scleranthus, wild oak. Category 3 is lack of interest. Chestnut bud, clematis, honeysuckle, mustard, olive, white chestnut, wild rose. Category 4 is loneliness. Heather, impatience, water violet. Category 5 is oversensitive to influences and ideas, which include agrimony, century, holly, and walnut. Category 6 is despondency and despair. Crabapple, elm, larch, oak, pine, star of Bethlehem, sweet chestnut, and willow. Category 7, overcare for the welfare of others. Beech, chicory, vervain, vine, and walkwater. And the intake forms that I created are based on these 7 categories. All the questions kind of like hit on each one for both people and animals. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at category 1, but from the animal perspective, since that's what my passion is working with animals. Of course, it has to include their human as well. Let's take a look at this. Okay, Aspen. These are the animal indications. Uncomfortable due to fear. Agitated or anxious for no specific reason. Spookiness, startles easy without a reason. Body trembling, twitching, and hypersensitive to surroundings. Always on guard by way of fear. Training difficulties due to fearfulness without a cause. It is also useful for animals with an inner sense of future earth changes, such as earthquakes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, etc. Aspen allows the animal to relax and feel more secure by dissolving unknown fear sensations, thus increasing confidence and freedom. Okay. Next one is cherry plum. Animal indications. Out of control behavior can manifest in a lack of manners and even aggressiveness. Agitated physically from an irritation of the skin, health conditions, aches and pains, bug bites, etc. Can also be used with loss of control of the body, incontinence, and seizures. Mimulus. These are the animal indications. Fear of lightning and thunder, loud noises, firecrackers, gunshots, which is very popular in the summertime. Fear of animals, new situations, routines, trailer loading, and traveling. Fear of performing, like in a show ring or on stage. Can be used for fear biters, nipping, growling, all based on fear. Okay. Animals that have been abused in the past and are now acting out aggression that is fear-based. This is the challenge with working with animals, is their unknown trauma. Red chestnut. Animal indications. Worried behavior about their owner, caregivers, fellow animal friends, companions, mate, offspring. Separation anxiety from other animals or their caregivers. Useful when a fellow companion animal is away at the vet or is going through health crises or changes. May help wean when the mother or baby is upset with the transition. Okay. Rock rose, which is the last one in category 1. Animal indications: terror or panic-stricken animal, frozen in fear, unable to think or move due to fear. Physical sensations of twitching, trembling, shaking, increased breathing, bulging eyes, etc. Can be helpful for the aftershock of going through a traumatic or terrifying experience. Okay, now let's talk about you and your animals a little bit. You always have to consider both of you in needing emotional support. You're kind of like linked in one way or another. So observation skills are very important on yourself, self-evaluation, and also on the animals you care for. Past and present trauma in animals and people can manifest itself through uncontrolled behaviors and aggression. Because an animal cannot tell you what they fear, that's where your observation skills are essential. Think about what kind of environment they live in. For example, is it a calm environment like at a rescue? A busy lesson barn? Continual change like in a competition setting, etc. Are you or other housemates calm or under much stress and anxiety? Does their behavior seem to affect the behavior of the animal, which is very common? If you have rescues, try to discover the animal's past trauma as much as possible. That can be manifesting itself presently. Caregivers like yourself participate in an intake form for your animals based on perception and opinion. Okay. We're going to go over a couple case studies that are really fascinating on the effects of flower essences. This is Willie Nelson, the 7-year-old Chihuahua mix. He was found abandoned on a farm, several failed adoptions, and was on death row. Very thin, covered with house spots, was surrendered. Adopted by 2 caregivers and an infant with 6 other Chihuahua or Chihuahua mixes. Issues based on the intake form is emotional trauma, separation anxiety, and night terrors. That's pretty intense. So what stood out the most? What screamed the loudest? And that was the night terrors. Willie would become increasingly anxious during the evening meal. He stood guard while displaying aggressive behaviors toward the pack. When the pack finished eating, he would be compelled to lick every bowl. And as the evening wore on, his agitation continued to increase. Around 8:30 p.m., he would resist going to bed. He slept with other dogs in bed with the caregivers. He would nip others in the bed, but not with the intent to harm. So he's already at a heightened state. Once under the covers, which is a Chihuahua trait, he would scream, lasting about 30 seconds. Do you think he was afraid of the covers? Where do you think his mindset is, being under there in total darkness? Think about that. Occasionally, he would repeat screaming if there was a nighttime potty break. Okay, this is the protocol I prescribed initially. It is based on the intake form. Crabapple for despondency and despair. Chestnut bud for lack of interest. Star of Bethlehem for despondency and despair. Aspen, fear. Agrimony, oversensitive to influences and ideas. Mimulus, fear. He was on the blend for about 3 weeks. He improved some behaviors, but not the night terrors. There is a pre-made blend that it's used for trauma, a major crisis, PTSD, major negative experiences, and that's called Rescue Remedy. So I thought maybe Willie needs Rescue Remedy in addition to the blend that I had made for him. And it worked. So I said, okay, let's compare what's in both the Rescue Remedy and the one I made and see if there's any similarities or differences. Cherry plum for fear. Okay. Clematis for lack of interest. Okay. Rock rose for fear. I see, yeah, we're on the same page here. Star of Bethlehem, despondency and despair. Okay. Impatience, loneliness. Huh. Well, initially you'd think that would not ever come up on the intake form because he lived with 6 other dogs and 3 humans. But you have to look at the big picture. His trauma was the abandonment from the farm, and getting under those covers was a major PTSD incident. Okay? So outcome. Of the 4 clients I had in that family, Willie was the most responsive pup. The night terror ceased after including rescue remedy. Willie is still very vocal, but doing well. Willie had appointed himself guardian and protector of a human child of about 18 months old. The caregivers said they mimic each other's behaviors and copy each other's noises. He had found his role and purpose in the pack. Amazing testimony that little guy has. This is Leia, such a sweetie. Look at that face. She had sound anxiety. 13-year-old Belgian Malamute Shepherd. She attempted to tear down the back screen door, trying to get in the house after hearing gunshots. There's a lot of hunting around where she lives in the country. Extremely fearful of thunder. Would jump on the bed, shiver, and whine, and remained in the bedroom until the storm finished. Also, she was fearful of the hissing sounds due to an oxygen condenser a family member used, and she would just tremble and bark during the whole process. Okay, so this is the flower essence protocol I made for her based on the intake form. Mimulus for fear, rock rose for fear, cherry plum for fear. Go back in the slides and read what they actually address for animals. The outcome Leia improved to the point of ignoring the sounds and responded only with ear twitching and a reassurance from the caregiver that all is well, and continued to improve. In conclusion, please consider providing holistic support for your animals. In rescues, shelters, working animals, competition animals, therapy animals, or pets can all benefit from flower essence therapy, including you. They may experience different issues, but share the same emotional issues people do. Thank you in advance for giving them a voice and being their advocate. And that's pretty much it. That's about all I had as far as sharing what flower essences are. So I hope you will think about using those in the future on yourself as well as your animals. Thank you.